Today on Pink Coconut Television, we celebrate the great women who have been on the show. We have Yvonne Taufafale Ali with her sensational wedding proposal. Former Silver Ferns Paula Griffin talks about life being tall. Zoe Ballantyne celebrates her big calf muscles. Donelle Patello shows off her guns. Anuhea talks about touring with her baby. And Tati Mahina closes the show with her beautiful ballad. It all adds up to a Pink Coconut special. First up, Yvonne and the Cinderella Project.
The Cinderella Project is a charity aimed to help our South Auckland Cinderellas get to the ball. So, but all I did was I basically just uploaded a picture on Instagram asking all my followers to donate dresses that they've once worn before and don't really have much of a use for it now, and they donated them in, and I was able to give that out to the students I mentor so that they could wear that to the ball with no cost at all.
We've got Sana who was really enthusiastic to model some of the dresses. So here she is wearing this one. Can you tell us a bit about this dress and who it came from?
Okay, so that dress was actually my sister's dress, and she wore it because she was my maid of honor. And yeah, and as soon as the project kind of started, she was just like, yep, take it. She wasn't going to wear it anywhere else, so yeah.
How does it feel?
Feels nice.
You look lovely.
You look the part. You look the part. Now, some of the other dresses, because you were saying people who've been donating dresses also email stories about the dress and where they've worn it.
Yeah, so we've been getting quite a bit of emails. Ladies have been saying, oh, I wore this dress for my 7th form ball, or I wore this dress at my cousin's wedding.
And what's the reaction like when the girls come in? And do you hand pick the dresses for them, or do they walk in and they select which one they would like to wear for their ball? So
they walk in and they select. I'm there with them to kind of walk them through and say, hey, actually I think this dress might look nice on you, but ultimately I just want them to feel comfortable. And so I let them choose what they want to wear, and once they get the approval from mum, dad or whoever's there, then I'm good to go.
How do you qualify to be one of the Cinderellas? So
at the moment, because how I said before, I worked with these young girls, so I knew that there was a need. But now, since it's branched off to something way bigger than I expected it to be, I've actually contacted some schools and asked the teachers there if they could kind of nominate the girls, because I don't want it to make it seem like, oh, hey, you need this, come and take it. I want to, it's something special that we want to kind of, it's almost like a treat for girls who we know will need it but not feel embarrassed about using our services. Yeah. So I've contacted the school teachers and just kind of liaising with them to make the nomination, since they will know these girls a lot better than I will, and even the financial state as well. Yeah.
Do the girls come in alone, or do they come in with other girls as well?
Yeah, that's the cool thing about it, because we welcome them to come in with, in groups, so that they're not feeling like, oh, it's just me or whatever. Even if the other girls don't choose a dress, at least they're there to show some sort of support. And so yeah, it's welcome to groups, or sometimes we do have individuals, but they come with their families.
Now, before we move on and introduce our next guest, there's people probably watching this right now thinking, man, she looks really, really familiar. How do I know that face? Well, there's a video of yours that went viral, and you know which one I'm talking about. And we're not talking about All Blacks doing naked selfies. This one's actually a sweet one. And it was your wedding proposal. Yeah. So tell us the backstory. Where, when?
So that was back in 2012 in Long Beach, California. So me and my husband now, we had been dating in a long distance relationship for about 3.5 years at that point.
How did you make that work?
It's all God, seriously. But yeah, it works. I'm married now, so.
Yeah.
And everyone's story is different, so I can't really, yeah.
It still has an effect on you because you're getting teary-eyed now. So if you want to find out what we're talking about, let's roll the footage.
Smells like commitment. Forever smells like the both of us sitting on the porch, old and gray, watching our grandchildren play. As I turn to you and say, we only halfway.
Your mum dobbed you in pretty good, eh? She was involved from the start.
Oh yeah, she knew what was going on. I had absolutely no idea.
So, the whole time, when did it actually dawn on you that, oh my gosh, this could be him asking my hand in marriage?
Well, when I got there and people started standing up saying a poem which I had already heard, I kind of knew from there, this is going to happen. I think he's going to propose.
Yeah, because in the video that we saw, there were different people reading different parts of the poem. Were you like, okay, who's asking me to marry them? Was it?
No. It's his family, so that would be awkward.
Yeah, it would be. It would be.
No, it was mainly his cousins and his brother and stuff, so I really knew all of them. So I knew it was Ben. I was just waiting to see which part of the poem he was going to come in.
Yeah. And you must have had the answer already locked in your head and your heart.
Well, I was actually going to say no. Not because I don't love him or anything like that, but because for me it was real special. I mean, for me, I always imagine, getting my dad's blessing before getting married and stuff. And because it was in Long Beach, California, my dad was he was in Auckland, and I was thinking, oh man, I'm going to say no, and his family's going to be throwing shoes at me or something.
Well, at least you could use it for the Cinderella Project. Yeah, I'll go get shoes.
But then no, he planned it out very well, because then afterwards my dad popped up and gave me his blessing, and I was like, yep, that's a go.
See, he knew, right? He knew you'd say no unless you had your dad's
Oh
blessing.
yeah, he knew, yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Next on the show, Paula and life as a tall fern.
The girl from West Auckland's Massey High School.
That's correct.
Do you come from a sporting family?
I sure do. My mum was a netballer / basketballer when she was younger, and my dad was actually a marathon runner. But I can't actually say I got those genes passed on, so big sporting background.
So did they try and force you to go follow their footsteps into their sport?
No, not at all. They pretty much was like, you're young, just play everything that you can, and then end up choosing which one you want to play, and netball was the one I enjoyed the most.
But surely with those genetics, you must have been one of those freaks that would just pick up any kind of ball and become a genius at it, right? Basketball or rugby, whatever it was.
Yeah, I was pretty versatile at everything, but I was just this really tall girl freak who was too tall for her age, like all the boys were like down here and I'd just be a giant up here. And so growing up, I was like this tall freak girl because I was so tall. But I love it now. The boys don't mess with me now. So loving my height and loving having a sporting background.
But at least you can say when you were growing up, people looked up to you.
Oh, that's right. They sure did.
You can use that one.
That's right. I like that. That's right.
How did that affect relationships and boyfriends?
Very difficult. There's
Yeah?
no tall guys around these days. Even at school, like I said, I'd be giant and all the guys would be down here. So it was very intimidating, I think, for some boys to even think about dating me. So I didn't have very many boyfriends at school because of that reason.
And now you must have a lot of boyfriends.
Oh, well, there's a lot of tall people around now that are my age,
Oh,
so
awesome.
there's more to choose from. So.
You must have wished back then when you were younger, if only you could draw your perfect boyfriend so you could have all the specifics, right? The height, the weight, his shading.
Yeah, athletics got to be in there too, yeah.
Now it's Olympic hurdler Zoe Ballantyne.
Let's find out a little bit about you. Where did you grow up?
I am a Shore girl, born and bred. Yes, Forest Hill. Lived there my whole life. Went to Westlake Girls, then on to Massey University to study.
Yes, congratulations. You just
just completed my degree in communications.
athletic, intelligent, like the whole package, right?
The whole baggage.
Pretty cool. Do you come from a big family?
Yeah, pretty big. Well, got a brother and a sister, but definitely action-packed with lots on all the time. Quite a sporting family. Yeah.
So what sports did your family get involved with?
Rowing. My brother was a rower, my sister was a rower, my parents were both on the committee, my mum was the caterer for the rowing.
Nice.
So
On Lake
I was
Pupuki?
just the, sorry?
Lake Pupuki?
Yeah, Lake
Nice.
Pupuki and out at West Harbour Marina and stuff, yeah.
Perfect.
Can I just say something? When I met Zoe, but she's got like a real firm grip. Like, I was like, oh man, she's either a boxer or because like, man, my hands are pretty soft. I'm just saying because I moisturize it. I'm not saying you don't moisturize your hands, but what I'm saying is like, man, you got a pretty firm grip. So that's like, it's a sign of a hearty athlete.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Does that make sense?
Do you get mistaken for other sports other than the rowing and the hurdling?
Yes, because you can't see because I'm wearing jeans, but I actually have pretty big calf muscles. Like seriously, I'll be walking down the street and people just stare at my legs like everywhere I go.
I
and
get that all the
people,
time too, yeah.
I just catch people all the time. It's quite funny, and so some people have thought I'm a cyclist and also a bodybuilder as well because of the size of my calves.
So what particular training regime are you doing that's working on your calves? Because you keep talking about how massive they are.
I don't do anything to my calves. I was born this way. I don't know. Genetics, I think. My dad's got quite good big calves. So.
Are all your friends athletes as well? Because I wouldn't think you'll be hanging out with people who are at KFC each weekend. Party pack each.
I've got my training group who are like my family who I see every day on the track. They're my friends, but then I've got my friends from school who aren't athletes, but yeah, they're pretty supportive in what I do. And none of my friends really like KFC anyway. We're always into our coffee and our fancy cafe food. So we'll go there.
When you're in the gym, what kind of music are you jamming?
Whatever's on in the gym. I don't know, sometimes it's real crap music and I'm like, I need to invent a radio station that's just heavy pounding music or like hard rock music that just gets you like wanting to lift. I don't know, because sometimes, you're listening to, I don't know, like Lady Gaga and you're like, what is this? I can't get a PB snatch with this.
When Jandal sings, it sounds like...
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, really? Really?
Tough. Yeah.
Zoe, now, when you were notified about your selection to represent New Zealand at this year's Commonwealth Games, who did you first tell?
Let me think. I think it was on Facebook. Got posted on Facebook, so I told everyone.
I said, you made the announcement on Facebook,
yeah.
did you?
No, I didn't. I got an email in the morning saying like you'd been confirmed because we'd qualified in Hamilton. We'd run the time, so we kind of like.
Oh, so you already knew?
Yeah, we already knew, but then we had to be sort of confirmed. Yeah. So yeah, when we ran that time in Hamilton, I straight away called my parents. I was like, we did it. Yeah.
Did you guys have a big party?
Yes, we did actually that night. It was a big, big party. Yeah.
What's it like balancing your training, relationship with your boyfriend?
I don't have a boyfriend.
Okay, no, just wondered this.
He was asking on behalf of all the guys that are watching.
Like, I was asking on behalf of all the guys.
You must come back to the changing rooms and there's just like 56,000 messages.
Yeah, I think because it was our absolute last race of the season. This race had been set up for us to try and qualify in Hamilton, and here we are driving to Hamilton. It is pissing down with rain, like torrential rain. I had to pull over because I couldn't even see the road, and I was just like, oh yeah, we're not going to qualify today. This is pretty gutted. Get to Hamilton, the sky's clear, the sun comes out, there's no wind. The Hamilton track, Porritt track, is notorious for its wind, and it was just perfect conditions to get the qualifying standard. And when they called it out over the loudspeaker, we were just like jumping up and down, hugging each other, like so excited.
And all the boys that you chased growing up are all in the hospital with. Let's talk about the Commonwealth Games this year. I was actually hosting the breakfast show as the live footage came through. So when you guys marched out, Valerie Adams waving the flag for our country, I noticed everyone had their phones out taking selfies. So you were doing the same.
Yes, I was doing that. I took so many selfies and so many pictures, my phone ended up dying at the opening
Just
ceremony.
in the walk?
Yeah, pretty much, when we got seated. But then I was kind of like at the last bit of the opening ceremony, like I was standing beside Brooke and we were standing up on our chairs both with dead phones because we'd just like taken way too many pictures. And all the fireworks were going off and it was kind of like such a cool moment to not have a phone and to just literally just soak up the atmosphere of the opening ceremony.
Next in the studio, Donnell Patello, from 93 kilograms to bodybuilding superstar.
Donnell, if we start with you, bodybuilding, we'll build to that. But first, tell us a bit about yourself. Where did you grow up? What was childhood like for you?
Yeah, grew up in West Auckland. Obviously, my mum was a solo mum, so we got fed all sorts of good things like pies and 8 bits of toast when we got home from school, and we were always at a rush, and pretty much lived on a farm and had horses. So, yeah.
As a young boy, I had posters up on my wall. I had Arnold Schwarzenegger and as Conan and all his characters. I had Lou Ferrigno. I had Rocky, Sylvester Stallone,
Yeah.
and I had professional wrestlers, all bodybuilders, looking buff. Did your wall look similar? Is that how you got into bodybuilding?
No, it wasn't actually. I had Jason Presley and Dylan from Beverly Hills 90210 on my wall.
They're not that buff. They're not that
Yeah.
buff.
And I wrote notes to get out of PE and never did exercise, so there you go.
Wow.
So how did you get into bodybuilding?
I think pretty much I ended up quite heavy, so I was always probably bigger than all my friends at school, and then I ended up at 93 kilos, and that was when one day a friend came around who I was embarrassed to see, and I thought, okay, I've got to do something about this, and never ever thought of bodybuilding. I'd never worn a bikini in my life, but I just wanted to lose weight, and that's how my journey started to losing 37 kilos.
That is so awesome.
Yeah.
I was just wondering, are there a lot of female bodybuilders who are women? That's what I'm trying to ask. Yeah, that's what I was asking.
The tongue is the biggest muscle in the human anatomy, and she's struggling with hers at the moment. Yeah,
It's just really amazing, yeah.
Yeah, there is quite a few females. It's probably a lot bigger in Australia.
Okay.
We've got your top few that are quite well known here, and then they kind of change through each year. You see new novices and new people come through.
Nice.
Yeah.
So why bodybuilding? I mean, I understand wanting to lose weight, so you normally join a gym, and that's a lot of cardio.
Yeah.
But bodybuilding, the sport, is something completely different, isn't it?
It is. It's kind of crazy, actually. I worked for a nutritionist who did all my nutrition, and I used to see them come in there, and I was like, oh, I want to compete one day. And she was like, Danelle, you've got another 10 kilos to lose. Let's just talk about that first. So it was kind of from seeing other competitors that I was like, oh, I want to do that. And yeah, I did. Ended up doing my first comp in 2008.
What was the reaction like from friends and family when you first told them, hey, yeah, I'm doing bodybuilding?
Actually, family wasn't very impressed as I kind of went down the path to doing it. Being bottom heavy and having quite big legs, I had to get quite lean. So the first impression is like, oh my God, you look sick, you're skinny. And obviously in your first year, you don't have a lot of muscle, so you do look quite skinny. And yeah, not being able to go out and do things or eat with your family, so you get given quite a bit of flack. Yeah.
I think it's kind of ridiculous that we have a bodybuilder sitting amongst us and you're hiding the guns, so to speak. I'd love to reveal my guns, but I think our frames are too small. This is gonna sound real dodge, but can I get you to take your jacket off?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, wow.
Just,
I'm excited.
yeah.
In a nice way. Awesome.
There you go.
And just give us a bit of a
I do
Woo! Nice.
Is that a 10? That's a 10.
10.
That's a 10.
yeah.
20.
See,
20.
it's hard for me to take this off, but Sana, you've got no sleeves. Can we just do a comparison?
Wow! Wow!
Big guns or what?
Yeah. That's a 10. That's a 10.
It's bigger than yours.
That's a 10. That's a 10.
Now, you were saying earlier, you getting into bodybuilding was prompted after you met a friend, and you were just like, what is this friend seen a huge change in your body shape?
She was actually seeing a nutritionist, and she turned up and saw me and was like, oh, you should see my nutritionist, she can change your whole body. And I was like, okay, book me in. So that's how it began.
And if we're totally honest, were you like looking at her, oh really?
I was looking at her going,
Really?
like the 3-minute infomercials on TV, come on.
Oh, man.
So yeah, I kind of thought, oh yeah, it's too good to be true, really. But I did it for 5 months and didn't cheat once, and I lost 37 kilos.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Just gonna clap. It's amazing.
So getting into this program, into this routine, what was the hardest part for you? Because I guess everyone's individual journeys is different.
Probably training, because I had never been in a gym. Like, I was the type that never did PE, never did sports.
You grew up in a farm though, you said, didn't you chase?
Yeah, but it was like, no, the farm was across the road and I rode a horse and that was about it. But no, never ever was a sporty person. I think cross country at primary school when I was about 8 was my last time I trained before that. So yeah, it was probably the training for me, and also the amount of weight that I had to lose and the damage that 3 kids do to your body, really.
Right, because you're a mother as well.
Yeah.
So what effect does your training regime have on family time?
I am up every single morning at 4:45 a.m. and I'm back by 7:30, so it takes no time out of my family time, really. Yeah.
Wow. Do you have to document everything? Like,
Yes.
I ate a carrot instead.
Yeah, I have a food diary. Yep, honestly, I have a diary from everything I've eaten since my last comp in my phone, actually.
That's intense.
Yeah.
Mate, if I had a diary like that, massive, be like a Bible, and that's just for breakfast.
Hawaiian sensation Anuhea joins us fresh from Major Ranger.
I understand that the area you were raised in Maui, where you lived, was it farming territory? Is that right?
Upcountry Maui Makawao is kind of known as a Paniolo town, and Paniolo means like country. Cowboys, yes, exactly. So there's a lot of rodeos and you know, a lot of horse riding, a lot of horse pastures and farmland, but I'm not personally a Paniolo at all. So it's kind of ironic that I'm from there. But yeah, I definitely didn't do any of that.
All right, okay, so Paniolo, but you're kind of not really.
Well, my dad was a coach. So my dad was a teacher and a coach. So I grew up playing sports. I grew up in a gym, in a gymnasium, like under the bleachers, watching my dad coach basketball and football and all those sports. So I don't know, I was the anti-Paniolo, I guess.
Oh, no worries. Well, it didn't work against your favor.
No,
you know, obviously,
I love Paniolos.
it works well. It works really well. And in New Zealand, we've got a lot of people who were raised, I don't know if we call them Paniola, we just call them farm boys or farm girls, you know, but they definitely have those qualities of being hardworking, dedicated, and enjoy the simple things in life, you know. Like, is that similar to the traits of the people where you were raised?
Oh, definitely, yeah, definitely. And just the beautiful, keeping Molamakaina, like the beautiful landscape of our upcountry, you know, talking about Maui being the combination of city and country, like the country I'm talking about is Makawao, like just rolling hills and you know, keeping everything clean, the air is fresh, like those kind of qualities I think kind of definitely inspire some of my songwriting, I think, in a way, living that laid back lifestyle.
Awesome, sounds good. And you know, you taught yourself how to play the guitar. Let's talk about your songwriting. So when you first picked up the guitar, or we call it the gat, you know, you picked up the gat, what was the first thing you taught yourself?
I'm probably gonna say a Bob Marley song. Probably Redemption Song was the first song I ever learned.
Nice.
You know, we'd just go on the internet and look up chords to songs that we hear on the radio even. Like at that time it was like Nelly Furtado and I don't know, Jack Johnson was really, really big. And so just look up those songs and learn how to put your fingers on the right things, and little by little got better and better.
Cool. I love Bob Marley Redemption songs, by the way. Yeah. And that little voice we just heard right now, that's obviously a little joy of yours as well, which is your son. So baby's name is Ikana? Ikana?
Yeah.
All right, okay. And you've brought Ikana with you on the road.
I know, how crazy am I? But he's a good kid. I mean, my other half is here. He's the best nanny, daddy. He's the best. And so Ikana was a great traveler, and I could tell that from a young age. So I couldn't leave him home. It's too far and too long. He needed to get a couple stamps on his passport. So he's been with us and all the uncles. And we're trying to get the uncles to play at his first birthday party. So that's why I'm here working it every day.
Man, this kid is the luckiest kid. He's got Rebel Soldiers as his uncles, Anuhea's mom. This is awesome, man. Well, we're going to play a video of one of Anuhea's great songs right now. Now, just before we play the video, this is definitely going to be inspirational for anyone, and already I think over 2 million views on YouTube is telling us something. But for our people, a lot of it you know, relates to humble beginnings, and there's a bit of a humble beginning behind this video as well, isn't there, Anuhea?
Yeah, and it's a great example of how, you know, you don't need a lot of money or a lot of budget when you're in this industry anymore, because you can kind of do a lot of things yourself. This video was shot by my manager over there on his iPhone. We're walking through New York City, so it's a little shaky. I mean, that's the one thing that money can buy, is probably a stabilizing machine, but it worked. I got the point across. We filmed it in New York City, walking along the streets with my ukulele, and I just took all that footage and edited it myself on my laptop on iMovie.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Humble beginnings.
Well, it's had over 2 million views. Anuhea, were you expecting such a reaction?
Oh no, no. We just need the song was gonna be a new song. We needed to have something on YouTube for it, and rather than just have a picture of my head with the music playing, we just kind of slapped it together. So I definitely didn't think it was gonna get traction. We kind of probably planned on having a full budget video after that, but then we saw that it was doing just fine, so we just didn't.
Nice. It's really great, and it's inspirational for anyone who is thinking about just, hey man, maybe I should just make that video and just get it done and put it out there. So thanks for leading the way with that.
Now to close the show, Tati Mahina sings us out. Thanks for joining us on Pink Coconut Television.